So he comes in around 3:20 a.m. and I do remember the times vividly, very vividly. So he comes in and I look at him. All right, man, what's the word? How is she? And he looks at me. No.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Bunny Hugs and Mental Health. I am your host, Todd Rennebaum. Well, thank you for tuning in for another week. This week I am speaking with Daniel Norwood, and I have to tell you this is a pretty intense episode. It's really raw, it's powerful, it's emotional. So I met Daniel through Instagram a few months ago. He reached out to me trying to get a number or a contact from a person who was on a different episode. And so I hooked him up with that, and we got to talking, and his story is, it's just heartbreaking and it's powerful. I'm having a real hard time recording this intro because I don't want to give anything away from Daniel's story because I want you to hear it from him, because he's never told anyone the story. So listening to it, that's why it's very raw and very powerful and very emotional, is because it's his first time telling the story to someone, like publicly like this. But I understand it's hard. It's a hard sell when I'm not telling you anything about it. So just trust me with this one. Daniel has a ton of life experience from kind of growing up in the streets a bit, to his time in the military and fighting in Iraq, to this final incident that happened a couple years ago, and to his healing now. So I guess I'll just leave it at that. Next week, I am speaking with Dr. Jody Carrington. She is a child psychologist and a best-selling author. We talk about, we kind of just bounce all over the place. We didn't really have an agenda or one particular subject matter we were going to talk about. So we kind of talk about all types of stuff, and that's a really great episode, so please don't miss that next week. Please follow the podcast on Facebook at Bunny Hugs and Mental Health, and on Instagram at Bunny Hugs Podcast, and on TikTok at Bunny Hugs Podcast. Please rate and review the podcast if you're listening to it on Apple. That would mean so much to me. Anyway, I'm just going to jump into it now because it's a long episode, but without further ado, I give you Daniel Norwood.
I am from Florida.
Florida man.
Yes. Grew up in a place called Golden Gate, and my family was from Fort Myers.
And were you from a military family?
No. Well, I mean, my mother was in the Navy, my father was in the Navy, but they didn't stick it out. Like, my father flew Hueys.
Damn, I want to fly.
And then me personally, I did 13,000 miles in Iraq as a medic.
Oh, you were a medic?
Yes.
Ah, okay. But as a medic, I don't know much about, I know what I see on the media. Like, I'm from Canada, and I don't know much about seeing action in the Middle East as a American soldier. But as a medic, I'm assuming you see a lot of action. You also have to, like, shoot back sometimes. It's not just...
We are called soldier medics. Soldier first, medic second.
Gotcha.
I can't do nothing if they're shooting at me.
Right. So you seen some serious shit.
It's not as bad as you would think, but I mean, it comes with the territory that earned the name Doc.
Right.
Like, they don't just give that out in the Army. You become Doc once you've earned it.
So you're medically trained?
Yes, sir. I trained over 2,700 soldiers in combat life-saving skills, and they all passed first time.
Huh.
Very proud of that achievement. It was with the 183rd Regional Training Institution.
And as a doctor, is it okay to smoke? I'm teasing you.
But don't ever smoke in a combat zone because the sniper is your cherry.
Really? Damn. Those are some serious...
You see that cherry from 300 meters away.
Meters? You talking meters? That's Canadian.
300 meters away, and the only people who carried pistols were medics and officers. So people with pistols were targeted. I had $20,000 bounty when I was over there.
Really? So, sorry, that was in Iraq, you said? Or Afghanistan?
Yes, Iraq. I did not get the pleasure of the Hindu Kush Mountains, and I didn't miss anything.
I imagine. Holy Jesus. So who pays that bounty? The Iraq military pays whoever?
Oh, I have no idea. I just know that 1,000 American dollars at the time I was there in 2011 was just a little bit over 1,027,000 of theirs.
Yoy.
Yeah.
So you mentioned to me that you had some PTSD, or is it PTSD or CPTSD or both?
PTSD.
Okay. And is that from your time in the military?
Well,
I suppose.
I mean, the military compounded it because I was a very terrible child running the streets and doing dumb shit, trying to be a gangster, and yeah, I joined the military because I was going to be a t-shirt on some punk's chest or get a free burial. I opted in for the free burial. Then I became a patriot. Little laugh. The first thing that happened to me in boot camp, I wore a pair of Gucci glasses. And the drill sergeant asked me, was I a pimp? And I said, yo, mama, that is not what you do when you go to the military, brother. I spent the first 2 weeks pushing states closer to Florida.
What do you mean? Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. You didn't know that before you joined boot camp, not to say that kind of stuff?
Bro, I was a punk, dude. Straight up punk. The only person I respected was my mom, and that was sliding away at that time,
So did you have some kind of PTSD before you even joined the military from your time on the streets and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, because my therapist told me that the military, I should have never got in the military. I told my therapist, just shut up, because and don't take this the wrong way, but there's a lot of people out there that use these diagnoses as crutches and excuses, and there's no excuses. Get up and get it. You pave your way. Right.
Yeah. I don't fully disagree with that. I mean, everybody's different, but
now there are a lot of legitimate people, but a lot of people, now that it's become, for lack of better words, a fad, mental health. But then you got veterans with the stigma
of PTSD or of
having mental health issues.
Right.
It's a stigma in the veteran society, like, oh, nothing's wrong with us, we're strong.
I see. Yeah. So then were you honorably discharged, or how did you?
Yes, sir. Okay. I got out as a medical non-commissioned officer, E5, and I was a great soldier. I got many medals. I got like 12 or 13 medals. I was wonderful. I was a wonderful soldier. But then as soon as I got out, went right back to being an idiot.
well, that'll happen. So when you say an idiot, what kind of stuff were you up to?
Well, drinking got way out of hand. Then I was selling and doing illicit substances. I mean, to the point of I didn't work for 2 years.
Because selling was paying the bills, or?
I was basically, what I was doing was I was selling drugs with customer service, and I took everything, not just cash, because I run an eBay store.
I gotcha. So you're a pawn shop / drug
Trailer
dealer.
Park Pawn Shop is what they called me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, I guess.
Well, I look back on it, and it's like, you could always say, if you could change this and this is like, man, I wish I would have concentrated on my education more. I'm very smart, dude. I'm so smart, I'm dumb. I've never failed a test in my life, and I never really studied. Now, I dropped out of school. My principal actually told me, dude, you're wasting our time, just leave. And then I went off and I smoked pot for a couple of years. And then 2.5 years into that, I was like, you know what? I need to do something. And I smoked a blunt and went down, took the ASVAB, and got a 98. Like, I'm the type of person that pisses people off. I ain't gonna lie.
So they're like, we're just gonna make you general right now.
Well, no, they actually tried to put me in the infantry slot. They said, fuck off. I want to be a medic. And they were like, we ain't got no slot. Bye. And I left. And then about 2.5 weeks later, they called me back in and I signed the paperwork. And then I'm mad. I could have been a scuba diver. I didn't even know that the Army had those. But being a medic was cool. And I'll tell you, a lot of people ask why I didn't stay in it. It's a tough life. It's a lot of responsibility. And I just didn't want to do it no more.
Mm-hmm. That's the ADHD in you, maybe.
Oh, yeah, dude. You have no idea. I've worked 1,000 jobs.
I do know.
I've had 1,000 dreams. Well, yeah, you do know. I've had 1,000 dreams. I'm always pursuing something.
Mm-hmm.
And just recently, we'll dive into what we're going to talk about here shortly. But me getting on the internet, doing my online streaming and stuff like that, but the online streaming brought me back to life because I had gotten out of incarceration and I would sit in my home and binge watch court TV, forensic files, and just day in and day out and day in and day out. And then my mom was like, get a fucking video game, dude. And I was like, fuck it. I got an eBay store. I'll spend $150. And 6-7 months later, it has turned into a whole shebang-a-bob. I got a computer, but enough of that spiel.
Okay, one more question about the military. You said,
yes, sir.
Well, I'm assuming it's about the military. You said you have a traumatic brain injury. Was that due to your time in Iraq?
Yeah.
Okay. You got blowed up.
Something like that. It's simple. 1,000-pound daisy chain bomb. So what a daisy chain does is it goes boom, 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 like that. It was 1,000 pounds of explosives spread to hit a convoy.
Gotcha.
Because I did convoy security. I was an infantry medic attached to a cavalry unit.
So I'm assuming quite a few people got hurt then.
Well, I mean, it's the way of the animal, but I'll say we lost more people to their own hands than we did to actual combat.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah. And the scariest part about combat is you show up with the fear of God in you, you leave with none.
Yeah, I could see that. So then you come home, you've got PTSD from life, basically.
And I didn't pursue getting any type of treatment for it because the military is an animal, and we were told, tell them what they want to hear so you can go home, because if you don't, you're not going home. So no soldiers actually went to get help.
Right.
And I didn't pursue getting help until my gunner, Joshua R. Woodring, rest in peace, brother, worked side by side with me. I got out of the military and I was eschewed for a security job. So I started working for Whack and Hunt, also known as G4S. And we worked side by side every day. And you didn't see this one coming, man. He laughed and, but then you think back on it, you're like, yeah, he was crying out for help, but he was doing it without burdening anybody. But, long story short, he didn't show up to work for a couple of days, and it was out of the ordinary. And me and another soldier went over there to check on him and went into the house, and I'll never forget that moment. And so after that, I spiraled, bro. And when I finally went to the doctor, I was diagnosed with schizophrenia, PTSD, mania, depression, ADHD, and ADD, like just a slew of shit. And then when they first did it for me, I refused to accept it. Nah, I ain't got that shit. Nope. And then they put me on all this medication that really messed me up, like 250 milligrams of trazodone a day with 420 milligrams of Seroquel a day with a 30 XLR Adderall in the morning.
Yoy. I'm on 25 milligrams of Seroquel, so 400 and some is...
And I followed that regimen for almost 2 years while being an avid alcoholic and abusing the substance Spice.
Spice?
Yeah, K2. Synthetic marijuana.
Oh, yeah, that's not
American shit. Yeah, but it was it was legal at the time.
Right.
We could get away with it. And I've always had issues with substance abuse. I mean, I still smoke pot. I don't touch alcohol or other illicit substances. And we'll touch into why. And it's not just because I'm on probation, because even since I was on probation, I fucked up. After this.
Right. So this event you're talking about and all these diagnoses, was that after your...
This is in 2012.
Oh, okay. So before...
It was in 2011.
And when did you get the brain injury?
2011.
Oh, did you just say that?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's all good, dude. It's all good, dude.
Okay, so you come home from the military, you got all these diagnoses and all this thing, and you're kind of your old ways again, but you're able to find a companion?
Well, I was married before I left.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And that's another story, because I'm divorced. I've got an ex-wife and a baby mama. At this point, I'll probably be single for the rest of my life because I do have 2 daughters, and I refuse to let women be in and out of their lives. Plus, we'll talk about the story, but my youngest daughter was witness to what happened.
Okay.
That night that we're going to talk about.
Okay, and she's biologically yours?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And yes, my daughter and her son was in the backseat of this vehicle when everything took place.
Okay, so you're home. You start. You're divorced. You have.
Well, I come home and I was married until 2014. We were trying to work it out, and then like, no shit, dude. One day I just came home and she was gone. And that was it. She said she won custody of the child, saying I had violent ideations. And at the time, I was an alcoholic. I've been in and out of the mental institution more times than I can count. I've threatened to do terrible things to people while I was intoxicated. And now I'm an open book, and I'm here to be 100% honest, because for whoever's listening, I want y'all to understand that y'all don't have to go through this, and you can learn from my mistakes. And I know it sounds like a cliche, but I'm dead ass serious.
Yeah.
If I could just help one person not go through this, because this affects this affects families, multiple people. This incident ruined generations, the way I look at it.
Well, maybe. I mean, you're.
And I'm very hard on myself.
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say.
There's nothing. I mean, people tell me to stop doing that. I can't. I'm hyper. I talk too much, and I'm my biggest worst enemy.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, but yeah. But you're also being proactive, and I mean, it's not like it was this incident happened and then you just like whatever you dipped out or anything. You're taking responsibility and you're trying to be a better person and you're making changes and stuff. So that's all anyone could ever ask for, really, right? But anyway, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So you meet. When did you start dating your girlfriend?
I was 19 when we started dating. And I didn't join the military until 24, and I was fucked up about that. I look back on my past. I was a piece of shit sometimes. So I come home and I tell my girlfriend, "Hey, what would you think of me joining the army?" She said, "I don't know. We'll talk about it." Well, I leave in 14 days.
Wait. Is this the girlfriend that we're talking?
That I ended up marrying. Yeah.
Oh. I don't care about her anymore. I want to talk about.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, let me get up to her.
Okay.
So I go through said divorce, and I'm still in service at this time. To finish out my career in the National Guard, and I was in until 2017.
Okay.
Got out actually in 2016, which you had that inactive period that I had, which was inactive reserve. It really don't count. So we'll say I served from 2009 to 2016, went to Iraq in 2011, did 13,000 miles, I was a medical instructor, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so I go through the divorce. I buy a trailer outright. Boom, buy this trailer. And this is after going through the divorce and then living in a room for like a year. That's when I started selling dope. Because I basically lived in a trap house, you know.
Dope.
And
when you say dope, you don't mean marijuana?
No, marijuana is not dope.
Right. That's old school, man.
Yeah, let me get a lid. But and I am not proud of it by any means, and I have nothing to show for it except for the lives I probably helped ruin. But I will also say I was that drug dealer that would talk shit to people for buying their drugs every time, never fail.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I again, working in treatment, I know guys that like people that are like in the throes of addiction that are selling to people that are like celebrating other people's sobriety that used to buy from them, because they know they're stuck. Nobody wants to be a drug addict.
It's a revolving circle of madness.
Yeah. And how many using drug addicts and dealers are supporting other people's
and
sobriety?
I have to say, when you say drug addict, I can't ever say I was a drug addict because I like money. And I like to keep my mind together. Alcohol is what really grabbed me by the balls. Like when I was selling the dope, I wasn't doing the dope. Anyway, so I'm living in this place. Of course, it gets out of hand, over time. And me and this dude get into it, and he pulls a knife on me, and I grab his hand, tell him, do whatever you got to do because we're crazy. Anyway, long story short, I was like, well, I'm getting out of here today. And within 12 hours, I bought an $11,000 trailer outright. Boom. Moved in. So I owned the trailer, but I didn't own the land. So I moved in. And there for a while, I was chilling. It was great. And then I decided to get a doggy, which was a pit bull, and it didn't go over well. And over like a lapse of time, I got frustrated. So I decided to move out and rent the trailer to somebody. And that worked out for about 6 months. And then I flipped the fuck out and said, you know what? I'm sick of it. And I gave the trailer over to the person that was renting it and walked away.
Really?
Yep. I'm the brokest dude to ever give away a house.
Huh.
And then I was living with my buddy's ex-girlfriend for a while. And it was working out well. And over time, I got them strung out and back and forth. And then I start flipping out on them because they're not clean. And then, clash. And then they called the police on me for being there. And I lived there. And the police showed up and said, yo, you got 24 hours to get off these premises. Okay. And keep in mind, the girlfriend from the incident, I knew her since 2013. We had been friends. And when we were single, we were sleeping with each other. And then when we decided to date other people, we left each other alone and just talked on the phone. Hey, what's happening, buddy?
Right.
And the only reason I told that backstory real quick is because of what I'm about to say next. So the police come and we can't tell him to leave, but it's 24 hours, you got to be on the premises. So they left the police and the lady and the man that were living there at the time that I was living with left. And I won't lie, I wigged the fuck out. I packed 3 bags and I destroyed the house. Like I didn't break the walls or nothing, but like I broke all the shit in my room and left it a mess. And I go and I literally leave the home and I get on a Greyhound bus and I go to California. And I'm leaving everything behind, running away.
From Florida?
No, I was in Virginia at the time.
Oh, okay.
I moved from Florida in 2002. From the time I was born to the time I was 18, I moved like 32 times. And it wasn't a military family. I was, I love my mother. She's wonderful. But when she was younger, she spent a lot of time running away from things. And that's why I learned you can't run away from nothing. Because I got into California, I got to Koreatown, and I was going to be an actor. It was in Hollywood, fucking A. But about 2.5 weeks into that.
Were you on the streets?
Fuck no, dude. I was living with some Russians in Koreatown.
Some Russians in Koreatown.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a cool band name.
But it was cool. It was an experience. And then my mom was telling me, come back, and I told mom, fuck off. You've been telling me what to do my whole life. I'm gonna burn in hell out of spite, type shit. And then I started thinking about my children. In between all that, I didn't even mention the woman I had a second child with.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not really going to get into it too much, but after my divorce, I had gotten with this woman that I was dating back in high school. We went to homecoming together, whatever. And since I had lost custody of my first daughter, me and this woman decided, hey, let's make a baby we can't have taken from us. Because her mom took her oldest child from her.
Sounds healthy.
Yep. And then, long story short, I go off, I get 2 DUIs after second DUI. We get into it, and then some kind of stupid argument comes together, and she already knows how much I don't get along with my ex-wife. And I looked her dead in her face and I'll dump you for my ex-wife. Man, she two-pieced me, and that's where we ended up moving to the trap house. And my child was 1. Little Halia was 1.
So you have 2 daughters out in the world. You're living with Russians in Koreatown. Going to be a superstar.
Yeah, living with the Russians. And I started thinking about what kind of piece of shit am I? I literally left everything behind like a shit to go accomplish what? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But anyway, I just, and the overwhelming guilt came on me. Plus, I spent most of my time in California shit-faced.
Right, yeah. Of course, yeah.
Running the streets. And my new girlfriend, the one that we'll be discussing, her name is Jessica. And she brought me home.
To Virginia.
Yeah. She helped me out because I had went broke and I was pretty much fucking stuck out there. She got the ticket and brought me home and said, you need to be home. And met me at the Greyhound. And I'll never forget it. I got off the Greyhound. I meet Jessica. We get the car. We go to Burger King. And we have some Whoppers. And I don't have nowhere to go. So I call the guy I was buying drugs from. Hey, I need to come live with you. He says, yeah, you can come live with me. Boom, we go down. I get down there. I show up at this man's house. And this is a whole nother fucking story. I show up at this man's house. Apparently something didn't happen. I don't know. He's been in some kind of fiasco. He hands me an AK-47. Sit with my girlfriend. We gotta go handle some shit. What's going on? So now I'm walking around with this man's girlfriend, an AK-47, sitting in a pagan's house. And I'm looking at this dude like, bro, I'm in your living room with your gun. I mean, I'm just doing what my man said. He said, it's cool, bro. Take a line.
Jesus.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that night, the drugs were necessary.
I can imagine. God.
But anyway, I'm not even going to get into that because that's a whole nother. I got a lot of stories. That's a whole nother story.
You got to write
I
a
don't
book.
want to take up the. I need to, but I don't want to take up the whole thing with leading up to this. But yeah, and then I was living in Rustburg, Virginia, and I stayed out there for a while. And then my guy ends up becoming a fugitive from the law 3 days after I move in with him. So I end up living with his girlfriend. He's running from the law. He shows back up on the property, and the police are in and out, nonstop looking for this fucking guy. He shows back up on the property. He pulls up in a purple car. Bro, I ejected him off the property. Like, you gotta go. You're a fucking fugitive, bro. Long story short, his girlfriend's dad thinks I'm somebody else and shoots at me at point blank range. And I don't know why I'm still here. Because, I looked that guy in the face and said, you gonna take me from my daughter because of this? And then I said some real smart ass shit, and that's what made him shoot. But all I remember is the 2 shots, and then I ran out the back window, and then that guy took off running. And then he took his own life in Roanoke, Virginia. And they found him in the ditch 4 days later. I was like, holy fucking shit, man. And it doesn't end there. But I get out of there and I leave there. I said, I'm making myself homeless. I got to get out of the situation. Boom. I grab those 2 bags, the same 2 bags, and I walk from Rustburg back to Lynchburg. And I call one of my veteran buddies and say, bro, let me stay on your couch, man. He said, all right, bet. Stayed on his couch for 3 months. And then in that time, me and Jessica were seeing each other on, and then we made it official. I asked her son's permission to date his mama. And we started dating. And once we started dating, I stopped doing illicit substances. She didn't care that I drank. I'm not going to say she enabled me, but she never said no when I asked for one.
She wasn't in that other scene, like the drugs or anything. She wasn't.
No, not at all. She was a pharmacist for Walgreens, college educated. I mean, I pick smart women, bro. Fucking harass. But very, very smart woman. Older than me. My ex-wife was older than me. And then my baby mama was the same exact age as me. When I was 30, I dated a 19-year-old just to see what it was like. I hated it. But so me and Jessica start dating. This is where we get into the story. We start dating. I quit selling dope. I quit doing any little bits that I was doing is out the window. Smoking and drinking. That was it. Boom. I start working full time. I get my VA benefits. Life is looking up. She's guided me out of the hellhole, basically. And then we get an apartment. We move in, and her son's there, and she's there, and we get a couple kitty cats, and my child is coming back and forth, blah, 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 whenever. And this is my youngest child, because in 2018, like a dumbass, I got drunk one night because my ex-wife was letting me talk to my daughter on the phone every day. And then one day she just stopped. And after like 2 weeks, I sent a really fucking stupid text message that I'll have to live with for the rest of my life. I said, if I can't see my daughter, I will kill you, your boyfriend, and everything. And she took it straight to the police. Oh, I get arrested. Pow! Take it down. I do a night in jail. And 2-year restraining order. Restraining order gets lifted. I'm getting my life together. I finally got out of fast food because I left the military and I went to serve at the Waffle House. I did that for 4.5 years and then went to Bojangles. Then got out of that and started working for Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. Best job I ever had. Thank you, Jessica. She really pushed me. And I was literally talking for a living. I made it. I got to do what I wanted to do. And that's talk for a living. And help people. I love to help people. And we're working. It's great. Life's coming together. I'm trying to wait out this restraining order. The time passes. It gets lifted. I don't violate it or anything like that. And I start putting in the paperwork to see my oldest daughter. And give me a minute. What happens? I'm going to tell everybody what happens straight up. It was 100% avoidable and 100% my fault. Because of my negligence and stupidity, this is what happens. Life is perfect almost. Like, we have dinner time. I work from 7 to 3. Like I want some white people shit. Yes, I did it. And I had never stopped drinking, and the drinking was getting worse and worse and worse. I won't lie, it's not an excuse, but like I drank myself to the point of having GERD to esophagitis, a hiatal hernia, and throwing up blood. And that didn't stop me. I was working at Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I would wake up and drink a Steel Reserve. I would go on break and drink a Steel Reserve. I would get off work and drink a Steel Reserve. I mean, like, I drink Steel Reserve from the time I got up to the time I went to bed. To the point, like, I was an extremely functioning alcoholic type person. Oh, but it was terrible. It was terrible. But anyway, life's good, whatever, whatever. I tell my girlfriend, I say, hey, we got our own place. We got the kids coming in and out. Let's get a gun. We didn't own a gun. I mean, I've owned multiple guns, but bounce from home to home and I don't have a firearm. So I said, hey, let's get a firearm. And this is the pisser. She goes down there because I have mental health diagnoses. So I couldn't do the paperwork. So she did the paperwork and got the gun. We get the gun, boom. Everyday part of life. It's around. It's on the hip. Open carry, blah, blah, blah. Very safe about it. Always put it in a drawer. Kids stay away from it. Always unload it. I had over 2,500 hours of firearms safety training. Which makes this another. Anyway, we'll get into it. That's a lot for me, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Shaking like a fucking leaf.
Balls 100% in your court, man. It's up to you.
Oh no, we're going now, dude. We ain't stopping. So anyway, should we get the gun and whatever, and life's chill. Life's pretty normal. We've got a schedule. I cut off most of my stupid friends, like fuck all of you people. I don't want nothing to do with you. So the cutoff of people happened before the series of events I'm about to explain. The series of events just helped fuck everybody. You know what I mean? That's not the way I feel, but like there's certain people you just have to get rid of in your life.
Absolutely.
Because you are a product of your environment. You're a product of what you surround yourself with.
That's right.
So anyway, long story short, this woman helped me pull my head out of my ass, and we were getting our life together. On some adult, we're going to settle down and have a future shit. My kid loved her. We're talking marriage plans. I'm meeting her friends. Her family loves me. Me and her dad are Joe Cool, and her son, me and him, dope bros for life, man. Yeah. And so we're going to go into it. We're just going to dive right into what happened. Because I think I've procrastinated enough. So July 4th, 2021. We're celebrating. We're enjoying our time. Me and the kids, and Jessica and her son, which I would not say his name. He's a minor. We all go and we go to the water park and we have a good time. And I'm drinking the whole time. It's 4th of July. Fuck yeah, freedom. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we're swimming and we're having a good time. We have friends meet us up there. And then we leave there and we go to the hibachi, and I have a big old plate of raw calamari and good stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and all this. And then we go to a park in Bedford, Virginia. And y'all can, I'm not going to say her last name, but if you want to look at the story, just Google Daniel Norwood.
You want your full name?
Yep. Because I don't have anything to hide.
Right. Okay.
A guilty man has something to hide.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I don't say her full name is out of respect.
Absolutely. Yep.
But I will say mine. My name is Daniel Norwood. And if you put that in your Google bar, yeah. So, July 4th, 2021. After all the festivities and the food, we go down to a park in Bedford, Virginia. And they have a fireworks show and the kids bouncing houses and all this and that. And, I got my gun on my hip the whole time, and I'm running back and forth to the car so I can hit my drinky drink. And, we're having a good old time. And They set the fireworks off, and it's getting dark, and they're wrapping everything up, and we kiss each other, and we talk about the future, and we go back to the car. We go back to the car, and we get in the car. And I don't think about it when I get in the car. We buckle up. We get the kids buckled up. We're in a church parking lot, too. All this took place in a church parking lot. We pull up to the stop sign to pull out of the church. I look up. I see traffic cops. I'm like, oh, state of Virginia laws. I pull my weapon off my hip. I don't have my concealed license on me at the time. In the state of Virginia, the gun has to be unloaded and the magazine locked in one compartment and the gun locked in another. I saw the flashing lights. I was intoxicated. I was like, oh shit, Virginia laws. I pulled the weapon out of my holster and I go to unload it. And I did not drop the magazine. So when I racked it, it popped the chambered round. And I thought I dropped the magazine, but I was intoxicated. If I didn't drop the magazine. So I pull it back, and I think the chamber round comes out, and I let it go. And this is how I know I'm drunk. There was no situational awareness, no muzzle awareness, no nothing. I pulled out my hip. It's pointed at her as I'm unloading it. I don't drop the magazine. I rack it. It goes forward. Gun goes off. Because you get what you pay for, and it was a Taurus 9mm piece of shit weapon. But either way, it's still my fault. It's my fault. The gun should have never been pointed at her. I should have left it, but there's 1,000 things would have, could have. But anyway, so the gun's pointed at her, it goes off. It strikes her. At first. And keep in mind, this is at the stop sign, in church parking lot, with traffic cops standing about as far away from me as you are on my screen to me. Like he wasn't far at all. So boom. Oh my God. Are you okay? She looks at me. You shot me. I said, what do we need to do? Her eyes rolled back and her lips went blue. I jumped out of that vehicle immediately. No thought, no nothing. I didn't even have my shoes on. As soon as I saw that happen to her, and I'm a medic, but I still, there was nothing I could do. I'm drunk, I'm panicking, and I jumped out, I grabbed him, I run. Officer, I grabbed by his arm. I'm not even thinking, cops are shooting people left and right. I don't care. Grab him. Sir, I had a negligent discharge. Those are my exact words. Help me. I had a negligent discharge. Help me. He runs. He opens the door. He sees the gun. He strikes her on the chest. And it starts rubbing her abdomen. And I get immediately, boom, tackled. On the ground, handcuffs, thrown in the back of the car. And I don't even know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck just happened? And I'm sitting in the back of this car, and I'm watching everything, and I'm just crying and screaming, and
your kids are in the car.
Yeah, oh yeah. In the backseat of the car, my 7-year-old child, 6 years at the time, and her 10-year-old son, 9 years at the time, in the backseat of the car. And I'm going to tell you, we all thought it was going to be okay. We all thought it was going to be okay.
Mm.
You know, the sheriff of Bedford comes out there. He asked me, and I had to tell it. I just kept repeating the same thing over and over again. Because the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing to hide. I fucked up. I fucked up, and it all becomes kind of a blur. So I do remember they laid her out and they cut her off her shirt and all that stuff. And the part that breaks my heart was her son was right there for all of this. I mean, my daughter will be fine, but her son was right there. But I remember right before they pulled off, I yelled, I'm so sorry. And her son runs across the field and he says, I love you, bro. I forgive you. It's okay. And he hugs me. But this is when we all thought everything was going to be okay. Those was the last words I've ever said to that young man. I haven't spoken to him since.
Mm.
Now I am in contact with the family, but I haven't spoken to the young man.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure, the family is doing that on purpose. So anyway, I get taken away and they take me down to the station and I get put in the interrogation room and I'm sitting there and I'm just, I don't know what I'm talking to the officer about. I know I was talking about something because talking is a defense mechanism for me. And everything was all right. Everything will be all right. I'm telling the cop, everything will be all right. Everything will be all right. Where was she shot? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they kept asking where. I don't know. Oh, and that to this, I didn't find out where she was hit until forensic investigators told me. And I'm sitting in a room, and the investigator he goes through this little thing, and I hear the kids. They're in another room, and I can hear them, and my daughters talk about mermaids. She don't understand what's going on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all over the place. I do apologize. I'm very manic, even with medication. But this is a tough thing, and I've not really ever talked about it.
No need to apologize. You're doing just fine. This is no worries, brother. You're doing amazing.
So I'm sitting in the room and I'm waiting. And I know everything's going to be okay. And I know this because when I was 17, I shot somebody. And that person I shot on purpose. And they didn't die.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was trying to kill that guy, so we should be okay. That was, my thought process.
Mm-hmm.
And, that shit happened when I was 17. It was stupid drug shit. But just explaining my thought process. It's going to be okay. And the investigator disappears. And then he comes back into the room about 3:20 a.m. on the 5th at this point. No, on the 4th, because the shooting actually occurred on July 3rd at 10:11 p.m. So he comes in around 3:20 a.m. and I do remember the times vividly, very vividly. So he comes in and I look at him. All right, man, what's the word? How is she? And he looks at me. No. He didn't even say nothing. Just the look on his face. That was it. I knew it. I jump out of my chair and I smash my head into the wall. Bow! And I start screaming and crying, and the deputies grab me and say, don't do that, don't do that. But you read you can't harm yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just, I collapse onto the floor. And it doesn't click yet. Like, I mean, obviously it clicks, but it did. They dragged me in out of there from the interrogation, and it's like, you are now being charged with first-degree murder. Fuck.
First degree.
Homicide, man.
Not even manslaughter.
Eventually it comes, obviously, I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
But initially, I was charged with first-degree murder. Intentional homicide of my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have a history of arguing. We don't have a history of fucked up text messages. You know what I mean? Like, none of that. Now, of course, there was certain people that were like, oh, because I'm a yeller. I'm a loud person if you can't tell. So they're like, he yells all the time. Yeah, I do yell all the time, but not in an argumentative manner. But there were certain people who were, some people still want to see me die. But I don't blame them. It is what it is. Fuck. I just blanked out for a second. Hold on. My mind is racing. I gotta calm down. So anyway, we're gonna continue with the story. So they take me out of the interrogation room and they drive me down to the jail. I get into the jail and I get into the room where they're going to strip search you and all that. And I look at the CO and I said, just hug me, please. Just hug me. And this CO grabbed me and embraced me because I am a military man and a couple of COs served with me. So they know me as a man. And the CO looked at me and he said, you're one of the few that actually comes in here that don't belong here. I said, yes, I do. Yes, I do. And they put me on, I forgot what it was, but some kind of shit to calm me down, whatever. It doesn't work, but I throw up in a bucket and all this. And they literally took me straight from trying in that officer's arms and put me into a general population pod. And all these dudes, I'm talking, this is 2 hours after I left the interrogation office. I'm in a general population pod. All these fucking people have just watched the news. I come in there. I just killed my girlfriend. They were going to kill me that night because I heard them. I was laying on the top rack, and they would talk about, we're going to catch him. And, and I mean, I may have been hearing things, I don't know, because they all denied it or whatever, but like, I swear to God, I heard them saying they were going to smash my head in and take me out by the morning. So I leap out of my bed. Boom! God, get me out of here. Get me out of here. So they pull me out of here and they put me into a smaller bay. That's fine. I freak out again. I tell the officers, tell the media to leave my mom alone. So I start going through like a real psychotic episode. I start seeing things that ain't there and all this stuff. And I'm sure some of it was alcohol delirium.
Right.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, right.
So I'm in this little pod. There's about 8 people in here compared to the other one that had 66. I'm here with the 8 people, but I'm sitting there and I'm on another top bunk, and all I can hear is the people on the other bay, beating on the wall. It's in my full name. We're gonna kill you. We're gonna kill you. And I have like this crazy whatever, and I start low crawling up and down the bay like I have an assault rifle. And just kind of losing my shit. And then I start arguing with the guards, about food or something. I don't even remember. I just know that I went in on the guards. And then I just started declining. And the only reason I'm mentioning this is because it's a mental health thing. Like, it was a snap that I've never been through before. And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they pulled me out of there. They pulled me out of that one. And this time they pulled me out. I didn't want out. So I'm fighting. I'm fighting these people. And I should have just sat there and shut the fuck up and whatever. But like, I wigged and started fighting with these people to the point I got maced. And then that didn't work. I rubbed him in the face. And, so they grabbed this fire extinguisher looking thing in my face. That put my ass on the ground. Then they got back up and continued to fight to the point that I ended up strapped to a chair with no shirt on, with the heat blowing on your back, locked in a cell. And I was still freaking out on that because I was strapped in this fucking chair telling the guards that they weren't officers. They kidnapped me. I'd been kidnapped. And I go on this for quite a while. I'm screaming and yelling, I've been kidnapped.
Is this still all in the same first day that you went to jail?
Yeah, within like the first 72 hours.
Hmm.
And like I said, then I'm strapped to this chair, and I remember finally calming down and started to talk friendly to him, like, "Hey, maybe if I talk friendly, they'll let me out of this chair." Yeah, nah, not happening. But and then they take me out of the chair and they finally stick me into solitary confinement, and I'm wigging. Day in and day out for like a week, just screaming and yelling. And I broke the vent in a solitary confinement cell. I ripped a fucking vent off the wall in a solitary confinement cell. Like, I don't even know how that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing flips and I had visions. Oh my God. Just the worst visions of, I literally sat there in that solitary confinement cell. And once I quit wigging out, I got on my knees and I put my hands up. And I started seeing every member of my family brutally killed. Visions of my ex-wife being killed, my children being killed, my mother, my brother. Like, I saw everybody I loved killed, and I thought it was real at the time.
Mm-hmm.
These people are killing my family because of what I did. And I've got these visions and I'm hearing these voices and I feel like people are coming to kill me and just all this crazy stuff. And then to caveat it, I'm sitting on my knees, my hands in the air. I don't know how long. The guards are coming in and out every 15 minutes, and every time we come in, kill me. Please kill me. Please kill me. Like, I can tell you, not from combat experience, but from this experience, I know what it feels like to accept that you are going to die. And you say, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was there. I was at that point. It's over. And I wasn't suicidal. I was just accepting the fact that I am going to die. And of course, these guards are assholes. They turned it into a fucking game. because they're not doctors; they don't know nothing about mental health. Um, and then the weekend, and I had all these visions, and I had multiple visions of my girlfriend being murdered, like brutally, over and over and over again. I had a vision of my own child being flushed down the toilet. Like, it was horrible, dude.
Do you think some of this might have been alcohol withdrawal as well?
Yeah, well, that's to say, alcohol delirium, I'm sure it was an effect, along with everything else compounded.
Yeah.
But no, we're definitely gonna say alcohol delirium has something to do with it.
Right.
And then, I don't know how long it was. I will say 2 weeks in, it finally calms down. And at this point, the officers have taken literally everything from me. I am in a turtle suit. A turtle suit is that green thing. It's a blanket with armholes in it. I had they took everything. I didn't have any bedding. I didn't have, you know what I mean? Because I was fucking wigging out so bad. So they had me in this solitary cell with a metal bunk, and that was it. And like, they didn't even give me a real tray in the beginning. Yeah, no, they didn't give me a real tray, and they quit opening the doors.
Like a food tray.
Check, because I remember the guard opened the door one time, and I tried to push out of it, like, where was I going? But then it all calms down and reality sets in. I tell you all of this chaos to tell you this. It sets in. And I accept responsibility from the beginning, but in that cell, I didn't beg God for forgiveness. I begged her for forgiveness. I'm still working through the God stuff. My mom is encouraging me, but, I have mentioned to her that and I'm not going to get religious, but I have mentioned to her that I feel like I may be damned to hell. And she says, I got to get out of that mindset. And, you would think a lot of people get in a situation like this and they would hate God. God was all I had at that time. And then, according to what the guards are saying, I'm not exactly sure how it worked, but I know once all my chaos settled down, even they could tell, like, it's hit him. And the guards, months later, after I was talking to them, they literally told me that was the saddest shit they ever saw in their life. And I can't even explain it, but I can just tell you what they told me. They said that's the saddest shit they ever saw in their life. And these are guards who've been there, 17, 18 years. And
did you have to go to court at any point?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I got denied bond immediately, and then I go to a arraignment preliminary. And then I pled guilty from the beginning. So my shit went all the way up to a grand jury. But I didn't fight. I didn't fight it at all. I was guilty the whole time. I said, I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I didn't deny it. I didn't justify it. I didn't do none of that. I just told the truth. Forensic evidence was presented. There was no way it could have been done on purpose from the trajectory of the entrance and exit wounds.
And that's when you found out where you hit her.
In the leg, dude. In the fucking leg, man.
I've heard of this. There's a major artery in your vein, in your leg.
Femoral artery. But now I'm going to court, and we're going back and forth, and I say nothing during my cases. Nothing. I made one statement, and it's broadcasted to the internet. My statement I made after sentencing.
I will never forgive myself for this accident, but I will honor and remember it with all my heart, just as I honored and adored her when she was with us. I am truly sorry. I was supposed to protect her. That was my intentions, and I failed. I love Jessica dearly. Life will never be the same without my beautiful girlfriend, and I'm so sorry.
And I didn't wait. I wrote that statement while I was still in solitary confinement.
Right.
And held on to that statement all the way until the end of sentencing. But I tell everyone this entire story, and it's not over yet, but I just pause to say I tell everyone this entire story to tell you that it's not too late to make a change. And if you find yourself in the revolving circle of madness, ask for help. Because I could guarantee if I had asked for help and admitted I had a problem, this would not have happened.
I don't know what to say. I'm so sorry that you're going through this.
And so show up, and I don't remember. It was many court dates. It was like 8 or 9 court dates. But I remember the first one that I saw her parents at. And I come out, and, they pull me out. I'm in chains. I pull in, and then, my lawyer does his fancy lawyer thing. And I'm walking through the front of the courtroom, and I looked at her mother. I didn't say anything out loud or anything. But I looked her in her eyes, and I lipped, "I'm sorry." And I put my head down. And I kept walking. And we're fighting for this case. And, they start, my lawyer starts talking about PTSD and this, that. I said, that has nothing to do with this. Mm-hmm. Nothing to do with this. I hate when they do that. Hey, he's got military background. Let's blame it. No, this was me. I did this. There ain't no PTSD to it. Ain't no mental problems to it. A lapse of judgment and pure negligence. Anyway, we go through the courts, and then I eventually actually got out on bond. Many, many moons later, almost a year later, get out on bond. And I get out, I embed myself with my family, and I get into the VA and all this, and go through the process and the steps, or whatever. I don't know, dude. Because I feel like it's bullshit that I'm even talking about this. Yeah, I fought for my life, but it was my own fucking fault.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a first degree murder. It like people fuck up, man. When I was working in addictions, I met an 18-year-old kid who was drinking and driving and wiped out a family. And like you said, it's negligence. Accidents happen. Bad shit happens. You paid your price. You're still paying your price. Well,
I've not touched alcohol since that day, and I will never touch alcohol again. Mm-hmm. Because if I do, I'm going to narrow it all the way down to this. If I take another sip of booze, I might as well just go piss on her grave.
Right.
And I was forgiven by her father and her family publicly the day of sentencing. And I'll never forget what he said. And it's true. He said, when you decide to mess up again, just know that my daughter died for you. And he hugged me. And we've been in touch, contact, and whatnot. And I did set up a trust for her son. And I told her father about it, and he was like, I don't know what to say. I would say, fuck you, Daniel. But he was acting like, oh my gosh. I was like, what? Bro, you should have sued me for my soul. Because I didn't get any restitution. I didn't get sued. I didn't, nothing. I got charged with involuntary manslaughter and reckless handling of a firearm.
And that's exactly what happened. Why would they sue you?
Wrongful death.
But why? What would that do?
I don't know. I'm a father. I mean, I thought about being in that man's position a billion times.
Mm-hmm.
And if something like that happened to my daughter, it was a legitimate accident, I would be able to forgive, but I'd never speak to that person. You know, and the man tries to encourage me. I'm flabbergasted.
It's the power of forgiveness, man. Something I learned in AA. We step 9 is making amends, and that's partly not only for the people you hurt. You're asking for forgiveness, but it's so that you can learn what forgiveness looks like, so you can forgive yourself. So, just be inspired. Just be grateful.
Well, I mean, and I tell you, it's almost impossible for me to forgive myself.
I know.
Because I have such a big heart. I love hard. I care hard. And I mean, I had my shit in experiences in combat. That is nothing. This is a whole nother monster.
Mm-hmm.
I did the worst thing you could do in this life to somebody I love.
The scary thing is it could happen to anyone for any kind of negligence, whether it's firearm or alcohol or whatever.
And I still have a Facebook, but I haven't posted on Facebook since July 2nd, 2021. And the last thing I ever posted on Facebook was, I cannot wait to see the day the chickens could cross the road. But I did mess up when I got out of incarceration. I did get on there and looked at what they had to say. But I will say, now I do live a very isolated life now.
Yeah.
I live most of my life. Most of my human interaction is online. I am very wary about going in public. I have been blessed, though. I've not been recognized. Or if I have been, I have not been pointed out. I had 2 fears. I was going to get killed walking into the courthouse that day. And the other fear was in Walmart or something. He's a murderer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In front of the whole world. And the bad part about it is, I think about this. Remember I told you earlier about a stupid text message I sent my ex-wife in 2019 or 18?
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? How does that look on my end, fighting for my oldest daughter? Now my ex-wife could say, he sent this message in 2019, and 2 years later, it really happened to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And she's playing the I'm scared of me card. And that blows my mind, because the child that was in the car, my Halia, we spoke to each other pretty much every week. I've never lost touch with that child. And me and that child have an unbreakable bond.
Yeah, I see you have pictures of her on Instagram, and you're like together and stuff, not just.
Yeah, that's my warrior. And I mean, my oldest daughter, I love her to death, but I don't know her.
Mm-hmm.
And my fault. What my mother tells me to encourage me is, she's going to realize that her mother rips you out of her life, and she's going to want to find the truth. And one day she's going to show up, and I'm never going to be able to get rid of her.
You're still seeing counselors and therapists and psychiatrists, I'm assuming, and
I hate my psychiatrist, but I like my therapist.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm also in a veteran group called My Veterans Passion, which is a nonprofit organization that helps. We bring awareness for veteran suicide, and they help people with PTSD, and they do counseling, and I go to weekly counseling with them 4 times a week. And then I have my therapist and like all this other shit. And
So you're being proactive. You've taken responsibility. If people are going to judge you no matter what, but I think you are maybe worrying too much that you're going to be recognized and stuff. And I get it. I mean, that's.
Well, I've gotten over it a lot, because I have put my face out there on the streaming network, and that was a huge thing for me. Like, I was not going to show my face. I wasn't going to do all this. And I said, you know what? It is what it is. And talking to you has now been the first time I've got to explain my side. And I'm going to be the first person to tell you, I do not want a single person out there to feel sorry for me. Do not feel sorry for me. I beg of you. I deserve what I'm going through.
I don't know.
And it's not an excuse to have a sob story, but it's an excuse to make a difference and do some fucking good in this world. And I'm pursuing, I want to create a foundation in her name, to Jessica, her last name, Foundation for Gun Safety and Substance Abuse. And I wanted to be a nonprofit foundation, and it's a mountain to accomplish, but it can happen.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, you're doing all the right things. And it's just, it's progress, not perfection. And you're progressing. Whether a baby step is still a step. And, hopefully one day you can heal. You're never going to get over it, right? I hate when people say shit like that, but I think you deserve a better quality of life than you're giving yourself. Let's put it that way. But again, it takes time. It takes healing. And you're on the path, man. You're on the path.
Take your meds.
Take your meds, yeah.
Take your meds.
Make your beds and take your meds.
Yeah, basically.
Tell me how Twitch has been. You don't have to promote your channel or anything like that, but tell me how it's been helpful for you. You said it's basically saved your life.
Yeah, okay. I won't use my username, but yes, I am on Twitch, and it just started off as just play a game, get your mind off things, and then I started playing online with people, and I have a personality, and people were like, "Hey, dude, you should do this." Nah, man, I can't. And I was always a musician for many, many years, a performer, an entertainer. I'm the guy who would walk in the room and light it up. That's me. And I refuse to do, because the genre of music I make was rap music. And after what happened, I refuse to represent anything like that for the rest of my life. I got nothing to say. I don't have bars. I'm not cool. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to make a song about it. And I was like, I'm a creator, though. I've got a creative mind. This is a way I can let it out and use my creativity and not do music. I don't face first into it. And built a great Twitch channel. I've got a wonderful following. It's growing and growing. And the people, it's nothing like the music industry. Nothing. The music industry is dog, man. Whereas in this community, the streaming community is very uplifting, very positive. And I've actually had a few people on Twitch that I have opened up to. And they shocked me. We love you, dude. It happens, dude. It'll be okay, dude. Because I always go into it. I'm going to tell y'all something. And if you don't talk to me ever again, I understand. And they never react like that. They bro, it'll be all right. We ain't going nowhere. Wow. I'm humbled. I'm humbled.
Isn't that a great feeling?
So now I get on there and I hit the button and I talk to people and I communicate with people, because I used to be the guy I hang out all the time. This is my way of hanging out again and feeling social. And some people from the outside look at it and say it's still a dangerous way to live, because I'm very isolated, and I don't want it to change.
Well, I'm kind of ish the same way. I live in a small town, and I hardly know anyone from town anymore because I don't go out. But I'm still making amazing connections with people because I'm doing this. So I'm still
Right, exactly.
yeah. I mean, I'm having way better conversations on here than I ever would talking about the weather and fucking
Right,
whatever.
exactly.
So I'm
Exactly.
like, people might look at me and think I'm isolating. I'm like, fuck you. I'm having like the best conversations and connecting with the most amazing people all over the place.
And then the isolation, like a lot of people look at, oh, you're isolated, you're isolated. I look at it, this opportunity was horrible. This whole thing was horrible, but it gave me an opportunity to legitimately reset my life.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody want to talk to me afterwards. When I got out, nobody want to talk to me. Good. Leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you either. And the few people that I've talked to in the real world, like I ain't gonna lie, I had one friend that I've known for 17, 18 years. Cut him off. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
All the drug people, bye. All the hood people, bye. I communicate with those that I must communicate with. And I'm embedded with my family. You know, because people come and they go. Nothing lasts forever. I just want to say, you know, what I take from this whole situation, this scenario is I don't want to die. I want to live for those who can't. And I want to make a difference. And you can change the world, even if it's only one person. You change one person's life, you've changed the world. We can't give up. We can't quit. And we got to keep fighting. And for those of you listening, use me as an example. I am not using this as an excuse. I am out there and I am trying to live and make a difference and be positive. Because my mother told me, you know, just because this happened doesn't mean you have to lose your smile. And I loved Jessica. We never broke up. And I never got to say goodbye. I literally just found out where she was buried 3 days ago. I did not ask her family. You don't ask those questions. The wonderful internet. But I've never been down there and never got to say goodbye. And I'm going to do that. And I know Jessica knows that I didn't mean for this to happen.
That's right.
And I believe she's my guardian angel. But yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you for the opportunity. And make sure you all follow Bunny Hugs Mental Health on Instagram, TikTok, and all your socials.
Appreciate it, brother. Love you. Take care.
You too, brother. Love you too, man. Thank you for everything. And don't stop shining.
Thank you, my friend. Daniel and I have a bit of a relationship now. We actually text quite often. He's been very anxious about this coming out, this episode. It's highly anticipated, as he says. I'm very proud of you, Daniel, for doing this, because you didn't have to, and I know how hard it was for you to do it. And I think it's a good step forward to start your healing process. And I'm happy to say that Daniel texted me the other day. He said he listened to it with his one of his kids' moms and some of her kids, and they all cried together as a family, and they processed stuff as a family. They shared their feelings and their memories of the event. Unfortunately, he went straight to jail, so they didn't really have time to process it as a family. So I think that's I mean, it's hard, but I think it was ultimately going to be a very good thing that happened. So, Daniel, thank you so much for this. I'm so honored that you chose Bunny Hugs and Mental Health and for me to tell your story. And I think you are going to help people. I've done an episode before about accidental killers, and I think it happens way more often than people realize. Maybe not to these extremes, but it happens a lot. So I think I think you're going to help some people. So thanks again, Daniel. And thank you, everybody, for listening. If you have any questions or comments or concerns about this episode or any episode, please reach out on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and leave some comments. And please, everybody, remember to make your beds and to take your meds. Bye.